Hello, everybody. It is so good to see you today. I can't believe this is the last day of February. You know, everybody talks about this pandemic time feeling like it's always Tuesdays, but these Tuesdays are really flying by. I was just adding up how old my newest grandson is. He's 6 months old. Because September, October, November, December, January, February. He's 6 months old. So let's cross our fingers. My daughter, who's an essential worker, a teacher, is getting her vaccination Wednesday. So hopefully it won't be too much longer before I can get mine. Because once I have both of them, I am anxious to go see my grandson, but I want to be as safe when I go to see them as I can because I don't want to give anybody the illness. So, because they say that you may be a carrier even though you don't have symptoms. So I'll make sure to follow good, safe rules. So I am so happy to see all of you. Hello, Sue Smith. Hello. I just took I just took a wedge tool, the stack and whack ruler, and I cut a wedge because I wanted to do a demonstration in a little bit about how do you get a nice, neat, folded edge at the end. So we'll be showing you this. Marcia is here. Nadine is here. Deborah Donnell. She had her first shot this week. Yay. Good job, girlfriend. We want to get everybody safe. Jeannie is here. Hello, Miss Jeannie. So, yeah, I can't wait to get my shots because I want to stop feeling so afraid. And that's the best way to stop feeling so afraid. Linda McCollum is here. Hello, dear Linda. So, so good to see you. I've had a busy few days. Laura Rylander's here. Hello, sweetheart. So, oh, Kathleen Kendall. Kathleen Kendall, I realized the other day we hadn't seen you in a while. Aren't you the sister-in-law to Chamberlain? I've forgotten her first name. We haven't seen either of you in a while, and we're so glad you're back. So I am very tickled. And because we have two Kathleens, but I said, after we were done with the show, I said, that's Kathleen Kendall from, I think, Maine or something. So, hello, everybody. So, I think everyone here has probably read the news, but like it's big news. Only in my world, but it's big news for me. Yeah, Deborah Donnell's going to have her surgery this week, and we can't wait to keep her close to our heart and know that she's going to feel so much better afterwards. She's a brave girl, and I'm so proud of her, and she deserves to feel good. Yeah, Patty Chamberlain. That's right, sister, not sister-in-law. It is so good to see you, sweetheart. So I had my test done. I had an X-ray. I had blood work. My kidney, my little lone kidney, she is doing so good. I love that little kidney. So anyway, and I did a CT scan, and they inject you with something that kind of helps show everything up where everything is, and if it's up, doing an uptake and functioning and all that, and it all came back clear. Vicki Lemire just had lower back surgery. Oh, sweetie, we're going to keep you in our thoughts, honey. So, I'm hoping Deborah Donnell, her surgery is going to be just as successful as mine was. And because, he told me I have to have another checkup in 3 months and then every 6 months for a couple of years. And I said, I guess I just have to get used to this. And he said, hey, as of right now, you're cancer free. That feels good. That feels good. So, yeah, we all fall apart at some point. I remember hearing older people say, getting old is not for sissies. Boy, is that true. That is one of the most true things I have ever heard. I had to push something back out of the way. I had a little stick and I was afraid it was going to get in the way of the camera. So anyway, I'm so happy. I feel like I didn't realize how fearful I had been getting. Any ache or pain, I was sure was something very bad. So everything is good. So we're glad to see Vicki Lemire here. All right. So I have a couple giveaways today. Remember, I told you I would continue going through my UFOs and find things that just didn't speak to me anymore. So I found a few of them. All right. I have so many things to talk about. I'm sorry I couldn't do our art quilt Thursday because I forgot that I had a Medicare webinar from AARP. And, I've got to make that decision. I'm within that window. You only have 3 months before, 3 months after, and your birthday month. And you must make a decision. If not, you get penalized. So I'm not gonna get penalized. And it's just overwhelming. And trying to decide what to do is a little overwhelming. So I am doing all the research I can. I get phone calls, mail, even a lady came by the door. I want to do my own research. I know they all have a vested interest, and I don't want that. So that's what I'm working. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I decided let's have a little color today. So it is so good to see you. In fact, I meant to take pictures and I forgot. Some little snowdrops, I think they're called, came up in the backyard. And they're one of the first things that you see. And then I've got some hellebores or hellebores. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce them. I call them hellebores, but they might be hellebores. And they are February bloomers and they're blooming. So I am so excited. But, okay. All right. Oh, thank you for the advice. The local agency on aging. Okay, that is great. You're in a snowstorm. Oh, no. That's right. I think you're in Michigan. Well, if I'm going to get snow, we better hurry because in 3 weeks, it is spring. So, the weather might not cooperate, but the calendar is right. All right. I've got so much to show you. And I was working on, it's so funny because I didn't have to worry this week. What am I going to talk about? There were bunches of things to talk about. I do want to say I was so happy to see my Dreaming of Degas in the quilt show. And later on, I will show you. And I had a lot of fun. I took a class from the Mid-Atlantic, a virtual class. And I checked out all of the quilt entries. They had some wonderful quilts entered. So, but I was just tickled to see my little girls there. And I got all very goods and goods on my judges' comments. So I was tickled. And it's fun to enter. It's just fun. And it's so funny because up until 2 years ago, I said, I would never enter. Those are my babies. I could never have them judged. And now it's like, yeah, let's have fun. So no, you're not dumb. It's just a lot of confusing things. So now today, let's look at, remember the Bargello I started working on last week? And here is what I've gotten done so far. And it truly is easy. And I wanted to show you. The directions came with this spacing. So once you make all your strip sets and then you cut them in strips of different widths to have this demonstration. But I wanted to show you what it would look like if you cut them a little bit narrower. And do you see how you get a lot more dramatic design when you cut them narrower? So this gives you a more gentle curve. This gives you the cavern curve. So let me tell you a little bit about this. I had made my strips and then tried to make the tube out of it. Inger is here. There's Diane 57. Hi, sweetie. So I had made my strips that then I turned into a tube. Unfortunately, I could tell that my tube was kind of pulled. And this is one thing that Donna Jordan of Jordan Fabrics, bless her heart, she has a free pattern on there, and they have wonderful fabrics that would really help make it dramatic. But she gave really good advice about having an accent color that helps your eyes run through the patterns. But she also said, be very careful sewing your strips. If you pull in the least, you will get a strip set that's kind of skewed. So when you try to fold it in half, you get all, I did 10 strips. You get all 10 strips sewn together. Then you fold it right sides together, fold the edges together, sew along that long edge, and then you'll have a tube. And that makes it real easy to do the Bargello pattern. And so all of that is on Donna's site. She has a YouTube video that's wonderful. So last week when I was looking at this, my tube was getting askew. And so now this one's done smaller. My strips were only 1.5 inches instead of 2.5 inches because I just wanted this to be a small table runner. And you notice how if you use a good accent, a light and a dark, it really helps your eye follow the pattern. So she had this setup, which was 2.5 inches, 2 inches, 1.5. Wait a minute. Maybe this was a 3-inch, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1.5, 1, something like that. And then on back up. And then I decided to take it even smaller than that. And so I bumped it down to about 2 inches, 1.5, 1, and down. And you see, you get that sharp valley. That sharp, I kind of think of it. Hi, Cheryl Lemon. I kind of think of it as a cavern under the ocean. This, to me, I always think of it like an underwater sonar of the ocean bottom. But you can see how really, really easy it is. And I had meant to have this sewn together today so that I could show you. But let's pretend it has all of the layers on it. So then, and let's pretend this is the edge. You sew it in a tube. You sew it this, and the tube will be about this long. And then the tube is like this, okay? So picture you've got 10 more strips this way, and you start cutting it across. And you will look at her patterns, and it tells you the measurements to cut it. See that? And if you cut it, that's right, that looks like I says 2.5, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1.5, 1. Yeah, that's what it is. And the one on the end looks longer because it's got an extra 1/4 inch where it's not sewn in yet. And then if you want it more exciting, then take everything down a 1/4 to 1/2 inch. But that's how when you see a Bargello quilt, sometimes you'll see amazing designs The thing that makes those designs is how wide you cut your strip sets. And by having these in a tube, then it's very easy to spin it exactly where you want it, what's going to be your top one, and then open up the seam between this piece here and this piece here, because, they were in a tube. But you just lay them out and very carefully follow that you're stepping down or stepping it up. Be very careful with that, because one of these, believe it or not, one of these I sewed upside down. Then I had to take it apart. So, and what I wanted to show you is the reason I like making this, if you need a quick gift for someone, this is a very quick quilt to make, because it is a quilt as you go. You see? So what that means is I have, let me show this. I have the batting. I have the backing. Okay, see how I keep it rolled up and pinned. But the batting and the backing, and when I get ready to sew my strips together, I lay this strip on top of the last one sewn. In the beginning, I just laid the strip down, then laid another strip right on top of it and stitched. And I stitched here too, just so that it wouldn't, I stitched here actually first, because I didn't want, actually I think I stitched on both sides. I didn't want it moving. Then took this piece, laid it right sides together. So like this, you lay it right sides together. And remember, with the Bargello, every other seam went the opposite way, so that the seams will nestle and it'll be much easier to get all of these seam allowances lined up. So you lay it here, so it's on top of the batting and the backing, and you lay it right sides touching the right side like this, and you do a careful 1/4 inch down. Now I usually make sure that the first intersection is lined up good. Then as I'm sewing, I carefully make sure all of the intersections are nesting. And by sewing them together on the batting and the backing, boom, once I finish putting the rest of the strips on, then I will just cut the excess off. I will put a binding on it, stitch it down, I'm done. So, and what this is what the quilting looks like on the back, just straight seams. So, that's the Bargello, and it is a very, very simple, I tell you what, gone are the days of cutting out all the individual pieces and stitching them together. This is so easy. Hello, Gran. So good to see you. So anyway, I just thought I would show you. Let me hold it up. But pick colors you like and pick lights and mediums and some very darks. And I think you'll be very, very happy with this. So what I've decided to do is I wanted to throw in a little interest with the steep valley. Then I'll go back to this more shallow version to finish it off. Okay? And then I'll have some strips left over, and maybe I can make a pot holder. It's a great way to make pot holder. Get your, that I've forgotten right now what it's called, but it's a kind of batting you can use in hot things. This would be an easy, quick pot holder, but I think it's really, really pretty. I like the way it came out. And if you go to Donna Jordan of Jordan Fabrics on her YouTube, you will see the Bargello table runner with the free pattern. Let her know that you appreciate her work to put these free patterns out there. and visit her site. They have wonderful fabrics. They always have sales going on. And don't forget, her husband hand cuts the strip sets, the pre-cuts, so you don't get all the little jiggy jaggy edges. So check them out. But I think it's really awesome. I think I haven't decided what color to bind it with, but my eye tends to think that dark color. But that easy. So I have, and you just have to follow a few things. It's always good that when you sew your strips together, when I put my next one right here, it'll be this blue one. What I can do, you lay it there. But since I started from this end, it would be better to start the next strip from this end by taking turns sewing the strips together, starting at one end and then the other end. It helps keep it from wanting to kind of spin or twist a little. Understand that with strips these thin, it's real easy to stretch them. And that bias is right there, and it will want to stretch. Also, make very sure that you don't put it on your shoulder to sew it. The drag on your shirt will stretch the fabric, and that will keep you from having an even strip set. So if you just follow those rules, cut them very accurately. I use my June Taylor ruler that has the pre-made slots in it that keeps my cuts very uniform and fast. And then use your 1/4-inch foot or put tape on the machine to make sure you're going in straight and even on the 1/4 inch. Then change and go the other direction. Bleach. Starch your fabrics before you work with them. That'll help keep them straighter. And then when you get ready to finally iron it, lay it on a cutting mat or lay it somewhere with a nice, straight, even edge, and make sure it's laying nice and even and flat. And then give it some good steam ironing. Let it cool, and then you can start cutting. So, and don't forget, sometimes we're so quick, we want to iron it hot and then immediately take it up. It's very vulnerable when it's hot. So iron it, let it sit there. It only takes a minute for it to cool. Then it's more likely not to stretch. So what I had to do with my other one, I knew to follow the rules, but I was in a hurry. I had to take the strip apart. I took it 2 strips width off each. So I had to open up, I think, 4 seams, and then press them, let them cool, then sew them back together by alternating edges, and then it went together beautifully. So, but I said, you know what? I want to do this right. So I took them apart and did it over again. All right, so that is the Bargello information of the day. Next week, I will show you my finished Bargello. I keep the strips in order that I use them because you don't want to have to figure out every time you sew what goes next. So everything is put in order, and I'm very careful to keep it in order. All right, so that's my latest Bargello. I kind of did it in what I thought were a little bit of spring colors so that I can have this out for spring. Any questions that you have? Oh, traditional wooden clapper. They are wonderful. And it just helps hold in that heat and let it cool a little slower. Wood also absorbs moisture. It's like the woolly mat. That way you're getting that hot, moist heat on both sides of the fabric. So good job. Good job. All right, so now you know what to do for the Bargello. Bargello first was a needlepoint design, and it was a chair from a government building in Bargello, Italy. That's where Bargello came from. I learned that years ago. I gave a little talk on it, and part of it stuck in there. So, yeah, be very careful. But I tell you what, they have new brands of this slotted ruler. This is my best friend. The slotted rulers. See how I can stick my finger through a slot? The slotted rulers keep your cuts even and straight and let you do multiples. Think of how many 2.5-inch strips I can get out of this. But I love this. This is a June Taylor one. I know that I think Quilters Select makes them now. You have to take good care of them. They break more easily, but they are amazing. So I hang mine up against the cabinet when I'm not using it. But let me tell you, I love that. I swear by the June Taylor or any of the slotted rulers. So you have to save up. Yes, they're not cheap, but you will use it. It'll be your go-to ruler. So, and I love that it doesn't shift. You've got enough of a ruler there, and you put your hand down, and it also helps keep me from cutting myself. And that's worth it too. Okay, now let me clean up a little bit. I feel a little overwhelmed. I took a class Friday and I worked on it for hours yesterday. And it requires a lot of fabrics and a lot of mess. And that kind of tends to overwhelm me. So, what do you want? Come here. Come here. And she's upset because she said, Mom, you're not sitting on the couch where I can snuggle against you. And I haven't been sitting on the couch for a couple of days because I had the class and then I worked on the quilt. And when you have bunches of tiny fabric, it's not a good time to have a little dog in your lap. Can you say hello? This is Maisie, who's come to live with us, and I love her to bits. Yesterday, there was a piece of interfacing on the floor, and she became very fierce. She said that interfacing had no business being on the floor. So she was attacking it and growling at it. But here is Maisie, who's now living with us, and I just love it. I'm so glad. When my daughter couldn't keep her, I'm so glad we got her. So, you want to say goodbye now? Say bye. So, anyway, and Blossom and Gromit are kind of, it's still new sister. I didn't ask her this dog, but Blossom loves playing with her. So I think we're all making the adjustment well. Okay. I have been very good. You will be proud of me because I have been making a list of my projects. Let me see, I don't know if I did many information. I don't think I have yet. No, I really haven't filled out the information. But I've now listed 1, 2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 UFOs. And honestly, I thought I had 100. Just no way. I don't have 100. I'm so tickled. So, but anyway, this is my list. And I write down what it is. I try to guess what year it came from. And, yes, Kiwi's upstairs. I've been so busy. I haven't spent as much time with Kiwi. She needs her wings clipped and her nails clipped. The other day I had her in the living room with us and she landed on Mark's head and her nails are very sharp. He wasn't a happy camper. So she can fly now. So I need to get these wing feathers trimmed and to trim her nails. But anyway, she got me in big trouble when she landed on Dad's head. He's not a real birder, and she loves him. She tries to feed him. She tries to groom him. And like, so if I get her wings trimmed, I think she's less likely to follow him everywhere. So anyway, but I'm really tickled. This kind of feels good. I'm enjoying it. I was starting to wonder, oh, do I really want to put this in writing? But I got to tell you, the thing I'm most excited about is finding some of these beautiful works. They're really pretty, and I can't wait to finish them. Speaking of that, I'll start out with something good. There's a saying that counselors love to say, and that is, if you don't acknowledge it, you can't fix it. That is so true. So remember this quilt that was made with autograph blocks from a group that I was president of for a number of years? It is now complete. I said, why has this been hanging on my exercise equipment with all the clips around the edge with the needle and thread still in it? So guess what? I moved it beside my chair, and every evening I worked on a few feet of it. Guess what? It's now completely done, and I have the first UFO to take off my list. So, yay, Deb. And that's a good feeling. I just realized, that is a nice feeling. So, thank you, Cheryl. So, let's see. I've got a bunch of UFOs to show you. I don't know if you're having as much fun seeing my UFOs as I'm having rediscovering them, but it is a lot of fun to go through and look. And it kind of reminds me of times in my life. So it is very exciting. All right. I'm keeping a list of names as I see you come in, because I might have a quilt you might be interested in. So, all right. Now let's see. I showed you the Bargello, and I'm going to show you the class quilt that I did. So, as most of you know, you want the name of a great teacher, Jane Hayworth. She lived in Devon, England, and I think that's where they have the really good cream, because they have those Devon cows. Ooh. So anyway, this is her class, Jane Hayworth. Here is her name right there. Wonderful teacher. If you get a chance to take a class from her, I recommend it. She made it easy and fun. I love her attitude of, don't get yourself all worked up. Relax, take it easy, make it fun. And she showed us. She did a trunk show of her quilts. They were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I was up and ready to go at 10 a.m., and we said goodbye to her at 4:05 p.m. It was a great day. And I got to tell you, I have a new respect for Jody and all these people who do collage faces, collage animals. It's a lot more work than I thought. I just thought I'd show you too. In between other things, I'm still doing paper beads. So here are some new ones. But I'm trying now to work on finishing quilts in the evening. But every once in a while, I just have to do a paper bead and be kind of stupid at night. You know what I mean by being stupid? It's like, don't want to have to think, don't want to have to figure anything out. Just give me something that mindless. So that's the great thing for paper beads. All right, she wanted us to use some of this tacky glue. It really works good. The only problem is I like moving things around, and you have to be careful how much you put. Now, in all honesty, she told us to put it in a little container, put a little bit because it dries quickly. So put a little bit in a container and use a toothpick. Well, you know, Deb, I'm a bull in a china shop. So using a toothpick to get glue is kind of hard for me. I just want, well, I'm learning. So I brought down some extra fabric because I thought I might have a chance to work on it before the show. Oh, no. I keep thinking that I wanted to get just a little more done before I show you. Well, I always think that. I always think right till the last minute. So let me put these fabrics out of the way. These kind of collage quilts are wonderful because you just use little bits of fabric. And it's what I love about collage landscape quilting, how we just relax and play like you're cutting up construction paper. And so it's a lot of fun. Oh, and we had a celebrity in our class. Do y'all remember that Mark? Mark, it's like a Czechoslovakian name. And he was on a quilt show for a while. Big personality. And he was one of the students in the class. And we did a Zoom so we could see each other. In fact, I did get dressed that morning, but I didn't bother to do my hair or put on makeup. And then I realized, that I was going to be up on the screen all in our little boxes. Now, I could have stayed invisible, but that just seemed rude. Oh, maybe that is it. Mark Lipinski. I knew it was something, had a ski on it. And, oh, did he? I didn't know. Wow. Well, there we were there together. But, so he was pretty funny. So anyway, here is my cow so far. This represents about 8 or 9 hours of work. Oh my gosh. But it's fun. And the reason it takes me so long is trying out different combinations of fabrics. When I go through the photo, all of our photos, I'll show you a couple photos I took in the beginning, and it was like, oh. But what I had to do with this, because first I was going to go all kinds of colors, but I'm going to give you a little bit of the lesson that she gave us, which, I have a hard time with colors. That's one of the things I have to really work with. Maisie, you need to stop. She's over here harassing, who knows, trash can. But anyway, but I was going to use all these bright colors. But then after reading her information, I was afraid they would become muddy. Because, if you put all colors in a blender and turn it on, you know what you end up with. Brown. So what I did is I said, okay, who am I going to make this for? Well, there's a hint in his ear tag. And my Katie girl, she's an ag major, and she raises sheep and goats, and she's even had a pig and chickens and geese and all this stuff. So I said, this would be a sweet thing for her home. So once that helps me to know who am I making the quilt for. Then I kind of channeled purple is one of her favorite colors. So I kind of channeled the purple and the yellow. I wanted to go complementary. And I kind of went a little bit of a split complementary, which I'll tell you about in a moment, because I'm going to add a few salmons and a few oranges in. But I am loving it. I love the freedom of making a recognizable face from the most unusual colors. And you will still know this is a cow. And when I was first thought I was going to make it for myself, on the ear tag I was going to put Moo, but then when I realized I wanted to make it for my Katie, I put her initial. So I was sending her text with pictures of him as I've been, or her as I've been working on it. And she said, my initial. So a purple cow. Oh, I don't know that poem. But it's fun. So let me tell you a little bit about the tips for color. And one thing she said, now Mark Lipinski, his brain couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it because he wanted to cut out all the pattern pieces and he wanted to make freezer paper pieces out of it so all his pieces could be organized and neat and tidy. And what she tried telling people, you can use a light box, but she said, don't cut out the pattern pieces. Just take and kind of trace it the best you can. Well, it's hard to see through the fabric, but with me, I do this so much with landscape quilts. I just kind of looked at it and drew, and I could draw it good enough. And then she told me, in one of the cases, I said, I don't like this area. She said, add another piece. So even though she gives you a pattern, you can turn it into whatever. Make more pieces of it. Make less. Night, night, Miss Nadine. You're the best, sweetheart. It was great seeing you, sweetheart. So once she said we could kind of fudge it and do our own thing, that freed me up. So I just started kind of hand drawing the pieces as I wanted. She gave me great hints to use black as accent lines to kind of break up the color if it gets too muddy, whatever. Let me show you where I did that. And she, on the little bits of hair on his head, I put a rim of dark around them. And I was thinking, oh, how do you do that? You put black on the cow and then put the colors in and kind of make sure there's a space left? She said, no, just you cut out the main thing that you need and then glue it on a dark piece of fabric and just cut it so that there's a fine little border around it. That's easy. I can do that. So she was a wonderful teacher. It was a great class. I wish there was a way I could do more classes. Good night, Inger. Oh, that is so nice. Oh, the Purple Cow hamburger joint. Gute Nacht, Inger. That is so. Sleep good. I think that's what she's saying. I so much wish I could learn enough German to speak to our Nadine. She spoils us being so smart with English. So, but anyway, I'll keep trying little bits here and there. All right, so let's talk about colors. Let's talk about colors. Here is one of the photos of her quilt in progress. And I just love it. It's so funny how your eye doesn't even need to see the right color. It does it for you. Look at this one. This one's a Scottish Highland breed. Isn't that something? I can't wait to do this. Now with this one, she did more of the primary colors. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. All right. So here is a color wheel. And as I tell you about these colors, because I told the teacher, I gave her high marks. Yeah, way to go, Alexis. I gave her high marks for her class preparation. She gave us this wonderful sheet full of color information. And that's what helped me going from a kitchen sink kind of mentality of throw it all in there to let's be a little more judicious and see if I can't make it pop. All right. She said, she reminded us that are analogous, and those are colors that are beside each other on the color wheel. So you could do, in fact, there was a gorgeous quilt in the quilt contest that was blue, fuchsia, and then going into a little bit of the turquoise. But these are analogous colors, okay? She likes to use complementary colors. Complementary colors are colors that are opposite on the color wheel, and you know they will always work. And that would be, let's try red. The opposite of red is green. And that's why Christmas colors look so good together. Then let's try blue. The opposite of blue is orange. Okay. Then purple. I chose a complementary and I went with yellow. Yellow and purple always go along. I tried to push mine into a split complementary. And that would be where you could pick purple and you could maybe do a little bit of fuchsia. You could come in here and do yellow and a little bit of orange or salmon. And that way you have a little more depth and a little more range to choose from. Now, remember that the outside colors on a color wheel, the blue, the red, the yellow, those are primary colors and they're pure color. You don't mix anything to get red. You don't mix any colors to get yellow. And you don't mix any colors to get blue. But green and purple and orange, those are secondary colors because you mix blue and yellow, you get green. You mix red and blue, you get purple. You see? So sometimes you can make something softer by going, okay, I'll pick this blue and here's the orange across with, but if I use a little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange, you still have the complementary effect, but it's a split complementary because you're going on either side of that color. And these are just wonderful ways. And you can get wonderful color wheels that actually have a spinning thing and it'll show you, and you can put it on one color and it'll show you the best choices for the other color. Then there is a triadic color scheme. So let's go up here to red. On a triadic, you will pick equidistant 3 colors. So red and yellow and a bluish purple. And they will work well together. That's a triadic color scheme. 3 equidistant. So let's say you pick this orange. Then it might be a lime somewhere in the greens and then somewhere in the red purples. So see, those are different ways. That's so nice. Those are different ways for you to have more success at picking out colors. The one thing that I want you to remember, though, Jenny Beyer, when I went to her last seminar, which was the thrill of my life, it'll go down on my bucket list as one of the all-time best. She showed us 3 quilts. She had one quilt where she had her focus fabric, used the color dots on the selvage, and picked out the exact colors to go on the quilt. Because a lot of people think, hey, that's a way to make a good quilt. The quilt came out flat. It was okay, but it was flat. So she showed us, pick out a few that match the color dots, but then pick a color dot and go lighter or darker than that color and add that. She showed us how to go, maybe it's a green, pick out a yellow or green and go with that. And what you ended up by throwing, not doing matchy-matchy, only a little bit of match. The rest, push out of that. So if you wanted a purple and yellow quilt, throw in a little orange. Throw in a little lime. Throw in a dark yellow. and see what happens. It will bring your quilt to life. She showed us a quilt where she had done just that. It was amazing to actually be able to visualize. And I would like to do that for you, but making 3 quilts and having 2 of them be boring, that's a lot of work for a Deb. So you're just going to have to believe me, okay? But anyway, another tip she wanted you to remember are, to use muted colors. If you use all brights, it's just what Jenny Beyer said. If you use all bright colors, it becomes boring. It's like, it's too much. You know what I'm saying? You need a place for your eye to rest. You need something to make the brights pop. You need neutrals. You need muted. And then the brights you put in really they sing. They sing. So in my cow, I was very careful to pick out muted colors. Look for colors that have had black added to them. Grayed out colors. They are wonderful muted. Let me show you some of my muted ones. Do you see right above his eye there? See that blue? Even some of these purples are very grayed out. All right? Like his eyelashes over his eye. I could have used white, but instead I chose a kind of gray yellow. And that way the eye becomes the star. So she was very good at teaching us. Look at this grayed out purple here. And it makes the center flower pop. It makes this batik under it pop. So see that grayed out purple right there can make everything around it more vibrant. So you have to have some of the grayed out areas to make your colors sing for you. So please, if you can, look up Miss Jane Hayworth. Last name Haworth. She's a wonderful teacher. And if you're lucky enough and she does a trunk show for you, you'll be so thrilled. So her work is absolutely amazing. And she's done some big works of dogs and just all kinds of animals. Her work is lovely. So just remember too about using some contrast between some of the color choices, and it'll make it pop. Otherwise, it just all kind of fades into the background. You don't want it to be muddied. And let me show you, she even used some dark contrast to outline the edges of the face to make the head pop out from the body. But here and there, she would add dark, and I didn't use just black. I would use a dark purple behind a light purple. Anything to make it pop. And here's a really good example of making it pop. Look at that. And you see, I took her idea. She used a flower print in the hair whorl of the cow, and I ran with that and used my mandala in the center. But I can't wait to work on the nose. And it's just using value. You have to have good contrast and value. So I was thrilled. Please look for Miss Jane Hayworth. See if she's got books, information, classes. She was lovely. Absolutely. She lives in California now, but she's from England and self-taught. And I love us self-taughters. So she was wonderful. Any questions? Yep, the lighter tones help set off the other colors. Exactly. Okay, so I think the colors are working out in the quilt, but it's because instead of going with my gut instinct, I thought, learn something. That's what taking classes does for you. It pulls you out of your normal comfort zone and lets you try things and have success that you wouldn't normally have. So it was wonderful. I'm very, very thankful that I took that class. All right. So now let me start showing you a few things, and then we'll see pictures. I want to get I want to get some quilt projects out of this house. So now that I'm going to live, it's time for me to get some stuff done. All right. I forgot to get this out and hang it up for Valentine's Day. But this is a little mini quilt that I made 20 years ago, I know. And do you see the bead edging? That was a lot of work, but it was fun. It gives a little weight to the quilt. But I used bugle beads around the heart, and I actually used a stitch on my sewing machine to do the little scalloped embroidery around the heart. But I just thought this is a sweet little thing that I did in my first quilt group up in Maryland. So then I did this almost 20 years ago in that same group. And this is my first time doing confetti. Do you see it? That's all cut up pieces. That was a whole revelation to me. I'd never thought about using confetti. So, and this is my first probably ever quilting on a domestic machine. I got it done, but that's about all I can say about that. So anyway, this is going to go up on the wall because we have St. Patrick's Day coming up. Then this is a wall hanging I made up, or did I find it? I probably found it online, and I did with y'all a couple years ago. And that's why I love doing this show, because when I do things with y'all, I mostly finish them. So you're a good influence on me. Thank you. But this is a sweetie. And I hang this on the wall usually the long way, whichever. But isn't that cute? So that one, I've got that to hang up. Because I got so excited, I was looking at Jamie and Pat. They've been doing all kinds of gorgeous decorating, and I thought, I want to do some of that. So, okay. Now, let me get my cow out of the way. And, all right. As I've been going through searching for UFOs, I'm uncovering things that I just don't want to do. This is a pre-printed, okay, remember that. But it's big and it's heavy. It's a pre-printed house block, and it has beautiful stars in the corner. And I don't know how many yards, but I would say it would make a full-size bedspread. Pre-printed. And so this needs a new home. This needs a new home. So that one's available. And then this one's available. I took an art quilt class where we did this iris. Hush, dogs. We did this iris. And I've got it mostly pieced together. But then it needs thread painting, embellishing, stitching down. And you wouldn't hurt my feelings if you changed the colors. Because I think one of the things, I thought I had picked good colors, but they just didn't work for me. So this is available to find a new home who will want to finish it and give it some love. That one's available. All right. Then, do you remember this one? I opened it up and I said, I know why I never finished this. I think I was trying using kind of neutrals. And evidently it's a bunch of pinwheels. And the pinwheels are made by doing rectangles with a square that you sew on a diagonal. And in this package, most everything has already been cut and sewn together. And I'm including 2 good-sized pieces of fabric to help finish it. Here is one of the pieces. Here's the other piece. But this needs a new home. So now, if you would like a chance to win one of these, let me know, and I will write your name down. We'll have a drawing. I'll pull it out, and whoever gets chosen first picks their project. Whoever gets chosen second, pick that project. There's our new Kathleen. So, I'm trying to write anyone's name down. All right. Okay. I tell you, all right, Kathleen, who else? Okay, as you tell me your name, I'm going to peel off your paper so I know. What I want you to tell me is you want to be entered. So far, I've got Kathleen Champ, so I've got her. Who else wants? Diane 57 wants to be entered. Okay, I've got that name. I tried to pre-write the names. I tried to remember who comes usually. Linda, good. Linda, I put your name down too. There's Linda's. Cheryl Lemon, got that. Pat. Did I forget Pat's name? I was trying real quick to write them all down. Great. Got Pat's name. And who else would like to be entered to win one of these? Polly, I'll just go ahead and put your name in. I'm giving away some of these quilts that I no longer want. Anybody else? I entered. So right now I have Diane 57, Kathleen Camp, Linda, Cheryl with a C, Polly, Pat. Anybody else? Linda McCollum, yep. I want to make sure I've got everybody. Anybody else who wants to enter, and what I'll do is I'll package it, mail it to you, okay? And don't give me your address here. What you're going to do is, let me see if I entered it right. I'll give you, okay. All right, so this is what we're going to do. So that was Dolores. Yep, I've got Dolores's name. All right, now I'm going to pick your name. When I pick your name, you will get to tell me which one you want. Then if I draw a name and you only wanted a certain one, you can say, no thanks, because I don't want this to become your headache. I want it to become something you would like to finish. Is there anyone? Okay. I think Marcia would like to enter. All right. Anyone else? Anybody out there watching that might like to win a quilt? A project, an unfinished project. And we have the pre-printed house and stars. We have the iris quilt, which we showed. And this kit that has everything cut out and pretty much ready, either partially sewn or ready to go. All right. So, any last call for anyone to tell me if you'd like to be entered? Oh, you're very welcome. And I'll have more. Don't worry. If you don't win today, over the next few weeks, I'm going to have a few more, let me tell you. All right, because what it does is it just helps me not to have to worry about them. And if they don't work for me, it might work for you. So our first winner is Kathleen Champ. Kathleen, I have this kit, I have the iris, and I have this house and star pre-printed. So which one would you like, Kathleen Champ? And then I'll put your name on it so I know to send it to you. You might even want this one since it is a good size quilt and has everything with it. Which one do you want, sweetie? Oh, and I'll put Betty Middleton's name if she would like to win. Okay, Dolores is in, got her name. Kathleen Champ, which one would you like? If you need fabrics to work on a kit, this would be a good one. Now, this is pre-printed, but you can have fun, quilting it. And, all right. Blue and white are your colors. Well, if you don't mind it being pre-printed, this is actually, lovely with the colors and the houses. So I can let me grab a piece of tape and I will put this one for you. We'll get it out to you, darling. Okay. All right. So I've got that ready for Kathleen. And now I need to, okay, let me pick one more and see who will win the next choice. Come on. Diane 57. Which one would you like, hon? I've got the iris and I've got this big kit. Which one would you like? Diane 57, just tell me the iris one or this big kit. I'm so tickled to see Kathleen so happy. We used to give away a lot of stuff on it. Things kind of slowed down the past year, but you know what? This is a good reason. Diane 57 wants the iris. Okay. I will put you on the iris. All right. So now, if anybody else wants to add their name to this big kit, let me know. Oh, it is my pleasure. I did trunk shows before the pandemic, and I would always give away a top that I no longer wanted to work with, and it's fun. Kathleen Kendall would like to be added in. I got you, sweetie. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. You are very welcome. You are very, very welcome, Miss Diane 57. All right, our last winner for today, Pat. Pat. Now, Pat, tell me honest. Do you want this kit? If not, I'll go and pick somebody else to finish it. Because I'll have more, but you're not going to hurt my feelings if these aren't your colors. I just want to make sure it gets to a good home. So, Pat, do you want this, or do you want to wait for, hi, Miss Michelle, or do you want to wait another week for a different one? Oh, let's see. What does Pat want to do? Good job, Kathleen. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, sweetie. So Pat, that's probably a little much, okay? So Pat would rather wait. And I don't mind at all. I want this to be a good thing, a gift for someone. Dolores, you're the next name I picked. Let me show you this block so you'll know. You might have seen me already do it. I'm not sure. But Dolores, is this something you would be interested in doing? Anything you would be interested in doing? Like I said, don't take it if it's just going to become a burden on you. But if it's something you think you'd like to finish, I will send it to you. Otherwise, I'm going to give more away in the next couple weeks. So tell me what you think, Dolores. We're waiting to see if Dolores wants this kit. Might have lost her. Let's see. Dolores, we're giving you one more chance, honey, to tell us if you want that kit. She might have gone to make herself a cup of tea. I'm going to pick a backup name in case we've lost Dolores. I want to make sure these things get a home. My backup winner is Kathleen Kendall. Kathleen Kendall. So Dolores, if she doesn't give us an answer, then it will go to Kathleen Kendall. Now, Kathleen Kendall, is that something you would like to win, that you would like to work on? Oh boy, I know about being pinwheeled out. I know. Kathleen Kendall said yes. So last call, Dolores, did you want to win that? Or I can put you in for a drawing next time. So, all right. I think it's going to go to Kathleen Kendall because I think we lost Dolores. All right. Now, if you just won something from me, what I need you to do, and make sure you do it again, just in case I lost your prior address. For right now, we're going to go with Kathleen Kendall. We haven't heard from Dolores. Okay. So, if you just won something, I need you to email me at our time to quilt at Dolores said no, but thanks. Okay, that's fine, honey. We will put your name in for another one. So I need Kathleen Kendall. I need Kathleen Champ and Diane 57, just to make sure I have your most recent address. Send me an email to ourtimetoquilt@twc.com. There you go. Okay, and you will never hurt my feelings if you go, that's not the project for me. Because that's why I'm giving it away. It's not the project for me anymore either. So you're never going to hurt my feelings. I'm just happy to give it a new home. Okay. All right, so that part was done. Now, let's go look at your photos. And then when we come back, look at this. I've got more, that whole tote worth of UFOs that I'd love to show you. Okay? But let's go look at your photos. We got some great ones, and we hear that there is a quilt wedding that's going to take place. A quilt wedding. Yes, yes, yes. There's going to be a quilt wedding. Yeah, we heard you, Miss Dolores, sweetheart. Thank you. Whoops, let me try this again. Can you see me? Someone just say whether you can still see me or can you still hear me? Am I still on here? Want to make sure I didn't touch a wrong button. Okay. Am I still on? Yes. Good, 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 good. Okay. I need to move this around. All right. Here we go. All right. Let me come to, here's our photos. All righty. Miss B. Hepworth, she wrote the sweetest email because I was so taken with her moon quilt, and I want to make sure to show you that. She just did an outstanding job on it. And she said that she did different textures, different threads to make the foamy waves, which I just adore. I love it. Then last week I showed you a card she made for her granddaughter who just got a new house. And guess what? Now this is a weighted wheat bag that you can put in your microwave and warm it up. And she made both of these bags for the newest members of her family, a set of twin girls that her granddaughter gave birth to. And I think I've got, let me get this. And so you warm these up and you put them in the bed with the babies to keep them happy and content. Isn't that wonderful? All right, let me see now if I can find, oh no, maybe I couldn't download it. Next week, I'm going to make sure it's okay with her, but she has two beautiful new great-granddaughters, and I'm so tickled for her. I'm sorry I didn't. I tried saving it, but evidently it wouldn't save. I'll figure that out, which gave me much here. And Miss Bonnie, and you know that she was working on this bamboo quilt, did a beautiful job. And, oh, the picture of her snow. I just love her snow. I'm still waiting for mine. Okay, here's another picture of her snow. I love how the world becomes very quiet and very small when it snows. Very peaceful. All right, here is one of her blocks, Farmer's Wife blocks. Beautiful job, beautiful job. And lastly, her lovely Quilt Testers bamboo quilt. I think she just did a wonderful job. Very nice, smooth, pretty. All right. Now, let's see. We're going to go. Oh, I've probably got a lot of silly things in here, but let's see. Okay. This is what I was telling you when I first started taking the class. This is how that ear was coming out. And I realized I had good contrast, but I needed to find some fabrics that would, I call them bridge fabrics, because they bridge. These are dark purple. This is a brighter, lighter yellow. I needed something that would bridge this, because right now it's not pleasant. It's just chunky. It's busy. So I talked to the teacher. She gave me hints. That's why I told you she's a wonderful teacher. I came down and I found some more fabrics that would kind of bridge between the harsh contrast of yellow and purple. They would bridge that. And there they are. Now, and then I cut out my mandala and I laid it on kind of like, I used the shape she had for the whirl of hair, WHORL, whirl. And I used that in the yellows to put that mandala on there. And as you can see here, I'm trying to work the shades, but I even found, nope, they needed a touch more. Okay, so now you see I've come in and I did that outlining thing that she showed. These are outlined. So, and then I outlined this. I put on some shadow fabrics on the edges of the ear tag. And I think you can see that it's getting a little better. And then, oh, there's Mark. And this is Mark with Kiwi. Before she landed on the top of his head and scratched his head. Yeah, I got in trouble for that one, ladies, let me tell you. And then here is my grandson Russell and his favorite little pout fish. It's his new favorite toy he got for Christmas from me. Whoops, let me go back here. There's Mr. Russell and his pout fish. Oh, I haven't seen him in so long, almost a year. And there's Miss Polly, my other grand dog, my oldest daughter's dog. They had a big walk. Oh, my son sent this to me, and I thought it was so neat. Let me pull out a little bit. It says 3 a.m. is the hour of writers and painters, poets, overthinkers, silent seekers, and creative people. We know who you are. We can see your light on. Keep on keeping on. He knows that I'm like him. I'm a night owl. I thought that was wonderful. Then I forget where else I got this from somebody else. Be a flamingo and a flock of pigeons. Love it. Then Mark and I last Wednesday, Mark and I went on a picnic because it was in the 70s and I needed to get out of the house. And so we went on a picnic. And this is the Yadkin River, and that's where this area gets its fresh water supply from. And here's just the sunset. I love the way the sun reflected off the branches. And here is a tree that had fallen over and the water was rushing past, giving you little tiny white caps as it rushed past. And this ground up here is showing that that river can flood. And it's not a river you want to mess with, let me tell you. And I had Mark take this for me because by the time we left, the sun was almost down. See, Nadine inspires me. Thank you, Miss Nadine. Here's another view of it. But it's just this little bit of a park near a bridge, and it's absolutely lovely. So we stopped by Subway, grabbed a sandwich, and then just went and sat. It felt good to have the sun on our faces. Okay, let me see. Oh, here I was. I got him to take a picture of me by the water so you would know I really was there. And another view of that park. It's a lovely little park. Then here are my other daughter's dogs, my other grand dogs. And here's Buford and the new puppy. His name is Henry. And he is awfully big for 8 weeks of age. Let me tell you. Look at this boy standing on brother's back. Boy, brother is very patient. He's having to learn what it's like. He was the last puppy in the house, and now there's this thing. But that Buford is about a 45, 50-pound dog, and then look how big that puppy is. Oh, and I don't know if I ever showed you this, but for Valentine's Day, I made a heart-shaped meatloaf and pink-colored homemade mashed potatoes. That's something we do every year and love it. Whoops. Although I think my son-in-law thinks it's totally weird to eat pink mashed potatoes. And then I wanted to show you, this is the judging sheet that I got from entering my Dreaming of Degas, my flamingo quilts. And I was very, very happy. Sue Nichols and Marjan Klupfel were the two judges, and I thank them very much for taking the time. And I love the personal comments. I love, what a fun quilt, very creative. Nice use of unusual materials. So that made me very happy. Okay. That's my judging sheet. Now let's go back to y'all and see what else you're doing. And I wanted to thank Deborah Donnell again for her wonderful kitty. And you can see that she has done putting the dark fabric in certain areas to kind of hype up the contrast. I love it. There's the flower fabric. I was inspired by her. All right. And Deborah, we hope you have good surgery this week, and then you are well on your way. Here is a wonderful crocus with ice all over it that Dolores sent us. I love that. That, to me, is the beauty of life. It tries its best. It pushes through just about anything to be there. Whoops. No, let me go back, put this. Sorry. I hope. Okay. Diana Wright, you know that she was working on this medallion quilt, and I'm going to show you a photo in a minute where she has finished the top, and it's just lovely. Okay. Bring this down so we can go to the next photo. Look at that. She made homemade brioche buns for their sliders. Does that look good or what? I guess Texans do know how to cook, don't they? That's wonderful, Diana. Love it. Okay. These were some cinnamon rolls she made. Gosh, they look good. Look at these brioche buns. They are beautiful. Look at that. I tell you, no wonder her husband and son are so devoted to her. I'd keep her around too, cooking like that. There is our Diana Wright and her son, Nick. And evidently he just got finished eating the crayfish or crawfish, depending on your accent. They went to a shrimp boil. This is her medallion quilt. Now look at this thing. Isn't that great? And I'm really fascinated with the yellow background. I think that's pretty cool. We so often just turn to white or black, and I love using these different colors. It changes things. So here are mud bugs, and these are crayfish that tend to grow in freshwater areas or river water in the South. And they're just very miniature lobsters. So, but that's interesting. I've never had one, and they say blue crabs are too much work. No. That's too much work. And I'm not sure who this was, but it just shows the wonderful food. And here is that finished medallion top, and it is a beauty. Way to go, Miss Diana. All right. They had to do a pool check after all the snow and ice. Look at that. Just a few days before, that's part of that Texas storm that hit. What a mess. Mm-mm-mm. But I think everything's okay, and that is good. We're so happy that they're safe now and things have thawed out. Well, Miss Inger really made us happy by sharing her work with us. These are placemats, and I think they were for her father and mother, if I'm not mistaken. And I love it. She made them very personalized. So I know they love that. That's a loving gift. You can imagine every day when they use them, how much joy. Look at this fish. Isn't that cute? Excellent quilting. Nice job on those placemats, Inger. Very nice. I know they treasure them. All right, and here's beautiful Miss Inger from Norway. Lovely, lovely lady. What a wonderful photo, hon. Love it. Okay. And here is a Dresden plate she was working on. Love the colors. And see, that would be called the split complementary because it's blue and yellow. So normally blue goes with orange, but she split it and went to a nearby color. Love that. Very fresh. And then look at this beautiful outfit that she made for a new baby. I think it was a friend's baby. I think it was a friend, not a family member. But isn't that just beautiful? So great, great work, Miss Inger. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We love it. All right. Now, Jamie. I love this. We got our Miss Crystal. Look at Miss Crystal. They have now decorated for St. Patrick's Day. Isn't that fun? I remember being a child loving one holiday that led to another, that led to another. Isn't that wonderful? So way to go, Miss Crystal. And then this is standing in their hallway, and it is so cute. So I'm not sure exactly what he is, but he's got a green hat on, and he's getting ready for St. Patty's Day too. How cute. Life is what you make of it, and they sure do make it fun. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? What a joyful family. I just love that. Way to go. All right. I think that might be it for Miss Jamie and Miss Crystal. Love it. Okay, now where are we going? Oh, here we go. The big wedding I was telling you about. Well, we have this Jody who is immensely talented. And look at this. I have so much respect when I'm just trying to do this cow. Look at the beautiful collage work she does. So we had poor Frankie, and he was very lonely. So then she decided he needed to have a bride. And she started work on the bride. Look at the pattern for this. That is amazing. That's a lot of work. And she started filling in with the colors. And I do know now that is a lot of precision work. Look at this. So they are getting married. They are, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Bravo. Brava, I should say. And that is just absolutely beautiful. And I love the subtle colorations that bring it to life. Beautiful, Miss Jody. Gosh, we're going to get her in a show. We are going to, a show or an exhibit. She does beautiful work. And then I couldn't bear, I know you've seen these before, Miss Linda's work, but I couldn't bear to let these go yet. So you have to see them one more time because they're so pretty. And look at this beautiful painting she did. Beautiful roses, watercolor. I love it. Beautiful job, Miss Linda. All right. Let's see. Now we're going to go to Nadine. And hopefully she'll see this on the rewind. But look at this beautiful wall quilt she did this week. Just gorgeous. And I love her colors. She's very Dietz. I'm trying to remember the gal's name. The beautiful colonial, what we call colonial colors. The nice, warm, rustic colors. Just beautiful. And here it is. And she wanted to practice doing the log cabin work, and she has outdone herself. Already quilted it. She works fast. Let me tell you, her and Diana can get stuff done. Way to go. And here's beautiful, beautiful outdoor sky shot. She inspires me. And this, I couldn't bear to get rid of this too, because to me, that is a beautiful scene that needs to have a quilt made of it. Beautiful. Okay. And this is another one she's working on, and it's in flowers, and how cute. Okay. And, oh yes, I don't want to forget this nice little video she made of all the little birds. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Miss Nadine. That was a joy. Okay, so now let's go back and Patricia Fry. Boy, did she found an azalea blooming out in her yard. And that's always the first flower of spring is always such a joy. Then look at this wonderful decorating she did of the house. Does that look fun? Way to go. Okay, bring that down. Look at this tablescape. I just think this was fascinating. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Isn't that nice? Every day is such a celebration. I love that. Now, she got very lucky. She thinks she might have bought this from Miss Judy Lilly when she was downsizing her stash. But this is a wacky wedge style quilt. And I'll show you in a moment, but you have to line the fabrics up so that you cut all of this number out of one very specific area of the fabric. And I was taught to do it. You match it up with pushing straight pins through 8 or more layers of fabric, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 exact matches. It takes a lot of fabric because you have to look at, that would be 12 repeats, and you've got to have it match perfectly. So she bought this all for $3. What a deal. That's amazing. All right, I'll go down and show you one of the other blocks. And she's got a little bit of finishing left to do, but she will get it done. It is just so beautiful. And based on, you're cutting mirror images of exact images. And look at the color, how it sprinkles the color throughout. It's so pretty. She thought she was just buying some landscape fabric. She had no idea that she was buying something so beautiful. She got a deal. because I've taken a class where you do that, and having to cut out those exact images is very tricky work. But isn't that beautiful? And by doing that, then you get this kind of collage of color. And if one of them's off, it throws the whole look off. So she really found a treasure. All right. Let me see. I think that was the last one of that. Now, beautiful job. I tell you what, any chance you get to buy, if someone's downsizing, you can pick up some true treasures. And I just wanted to show you one more time of Miss Susan's wonderful quilt testing project. Just beautiful. All right. And then I think our last person of the day is Miss Susie Blake. And this is the landscapes that she's working on. And here is her beautiful riverside home, her family's home. It's just lovely. And oh, I can't wait till warm enough weather so I can go rafting and just laying out in the water. Look at the scenery. Isn't that beautiful? I kept these in because they're so inspirational. Just beautiful. And this is up in northern Michigan. Absolutely beautiful. I think it has to be well worth the snow to get natural beauty like this. I have to close these down before I move on. That might have been the last one. Yes, it was. So, thank you all so very much for sending us photos and inspiring us the way you do. And anytime you want to send photos of your work, please, our time to quilt at twc.com. So, okay, Alberta's here. Hello, Alberta. It is so nice. It's a rainy day in southern Maryland. Aw. Yeah, I lived in southern Maryland for 21 years. Never met Alberta. I'm sad that I didn't. I think she and I could have had a very enjoyable time. So, all right. So now let's get ready and see these UFOs. Oh, hello. How are you? Hola. It's so nice to see you. We love our people from all over the world. It's the best stone soup you can make. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to start out with this one. This is a log cabin quilt that I'm doing entirely by hand. We got it when we got the RV, and I wanted to make a bedspread to match the RV colors. And that was in 2012. And it's almost ready. And you notice here I've got a sign on it that says 38. I have 38 out of the 64 blocks that are needed done. But it's all by hand. That's the way I wanted to do this one. And I will probably, can't believe I'm saying this, I'll probably quilt it by hand too. Did I really say that out loud? So, but this one's a keeper. I keep it upstairs. And it's a great, log cabins are great quilts for doing when you don't want to have to concentrate, because it's just follow the leader. Everybody can do a log cabin, don't you think? So, and what I've done to make it easier is I've pre-torn or pre-cut all the strips. So I just decide what color strip, I grab it, and I sew it down. So I will finish that. Might not have the RV by the time I finish it, but I will enjoy it. All right. That one. And then let's see what else. Let me push this back a little. Okay. This one is going to be a pillow quilt, or some people call them quillos. And so what I did is I bought a panel, and then I quilted the panel. And all I did was outline quilt it. I decided which part of the panel I wanted to be the one that showed, and then I put the two panel pieces together, put some batting in between, and this will become the pocket that the pillow quilt folds up into. And I love these the most because that's where you stick your feet in to keep them warm. When I make my pillow quilts, I use 2 yards of fabric. I want it 6 feet long, and I want it width of fabric because I want to be fully covered by the fabric. And I want you to see this beautiful, beautiful. I bought this back when Mary Jo's was still open, and it has fruit and birds. So I need to finish this because you know what? It's cold sometimes, and I can cover up with that. So there's one. Then, remember I told you that I'm really happy to be doing this now because I'm finding things that I can't wait to finish. This is from a pillow quilt. I'm sorry. This is from a throw size quilt that's called the Binding Tool Star. And I did it on a black background with rainbow colors, batik, mostly batiks, rainbow colors as the little binding tool logs of the star. I decided, I've made 3 of these. I decided for this one, what was going to make it different was the black background, but also my borders are going to be appliqued. And this made me happy to see because I said, this is going to be beautiful when it's done. Look at some of these colors in this. That's going to make me very, very happy. I've got all the shapes cut out. I've got all of my stems made. I just need to sit down in the evening and hand applique it down. And I do needle turn applique with silk thread. It's a joy to do. So, and I created my own vine border. I got designs from different places that I liked, and I'm incorporating my own. This is my own design, and what I picked the flowers that I like best and the colors I want. And all of the flowers I'm doing are light and dark, even down to the leaves. Light and dark, that range from light to dark. And so I can't wait to have this done. Then, now see, I should never leave all this stuff in the bag because then I don't realize I have those colors of silk thread. This is a table runner. It's a Jenny Beyer. And I need to finish it. And it doesn't need that much to be done. This was a pieced and appliqued kit that I got from Miss Jenny Beyer. So you see how we applique. It's like I think it's a stylized pineapple and the beautiful stars. So I just need to finish stitching these down. And then I just quilt it and use it. And it's beautiful. So I'm excited to find that. And I had this kit completely ready. So anytime I want to, it's got the needles and the threads and everything. I just pick it up and go. All right. Then there's this kit. And I remember this. As soon as I picked it, I found it. This is from what's called Beyond the Cherry Tree. And this was an antique pattern. Sentimental Stitches. And I do believe it's called Beyond the Cherry Tree. And it is a reproduction of Beyond the Cherry Tree. And you can buy this online. And it's a reproduction quilt. In fact, here is, and it was from a very old quilt. There's one of the photos in it. So it's absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to finish it. It's a labor of love, though. It's got quite a few blocks. But I love when I see things like this. This is where I sometimes I tell you I kind of do things my own way, and it can be a lot of fun. Instead of just making 4 pineapples, I actually wove the pineapple. And I think that's pretty cool. So it'd be nice if I finished it so I could say, see the pineapples I wove? But I take what was an old pattern and I put my own touches on it. And let me see what I've got. Here is a basket block. So I need to get busy and get the flowers on that. So this is something I definitely want to finish. And luckily, all the fabric is right there. Everything I need right there. It's nice not to find a project and say, where's the rest of it? So, because, you move once or twice, who knows? This is a quilt I did ages and ages ago. This is over 20 years ago. Little rose quilt where I fussy cut. I remember learning from Eleanor Burns to fussy cut things. And this was a fussy cut. The centers are all fussy cut. And I think it's sweet. This would have been from the early 90s, late 80s. So this is an old one for me. So I want to get this. It just needs to be quilted. But this now, it's in my UFO book. And I'll get busy with that. Back when I made it, I would have had to quilt it by hand. So now, guess what? It's an expensive old long arm, but hey, it works. So I can get it done. This is a sweet little, when I ran the local group, every year we would do something block of the month. And the year we did this was a free pattern I found online, and it's just so cute. And it's kind of folk artish. And I did all the blocks. I actually did it. So I need to finish this and get this quilted. And I guess you would kind of call it a calendar quilt because it has a block for every month of the year. So I love this, and I even think that the fabric I chose for it is really awesome. So I need to get that quilted. All right, this is a quilt. I'm going to have to stand up to show you this one. This is a quilt I did for a dear friend for his retirement about 15 years ago. So I need to get this finished and get it to them. I've told her, don't let me ever lose track of you because I've got something to send you. So this, I just have to bind it and check for any mistakes and then send this to them. And this was a local shop's block of the month. And I think it's beautiful. And it's time that they are able to enjoy it. So this is now my next thing. I'm going to put the binding part on by machine and be ready to do it by hand. You notice the safety pins. That means I have to go back and fix something. But I can do that. That's easy. So I will get this done and send it to my dear Janice and Art. And he had a nice, beautiful career in the Navy, and they deserve this for all of their dedication and hard work. So I will be getting this done. All right. That's a big one. Soon as I saw the plan and the colors, I knew. And when before I moved down here, they were so helpful when my life all of a sudden changed. Here is a quilt from a class I took at Myrtle Beach, and it's based on a convergence quilt by Ricky Timms, and then has some 3D geometric forms appliqued on top of that. So this is done. It just needs for me to machine stitch these down and then quilt it. And you know what? I like it. It's time for me to get it done. So, all right. Then this is a little string quilt pattern I made that I was doing for my group. And it just needs to be quilted, and it is done. Oh, and I love the bright colors. It's something very different. I normally don't make scrappy quilts. Okay, this I'm going to have to stand back up with too. Another big one. This was a wacky wedge. We did this in a class. We invited a teacher to come to our guild and teach us this class. And this is where you make wedges from the exact same repeat area of the fabric so that you can get a dramatic kaleidoscope effect from the fabric. It's like making your own fabric. And I love how I took the extra pieces and put them along the edges. So this is something I would enjoy. Once I get this quilted, I am going to enjoy this. Okay. And I love fabric that has metallic in it. I've kind of been in a metallic fabric stage for quite a while. This quilt was probably done in about the year 2000, 1999, 2000. And it was a crayon quilt. Somebody was teaching us in our group. We did the crayon drawing at first, and then, or did we might have done the outline embroidery and then did the crayon, or we did it the opposite way. And I think we did the crayon first and then the embroidery. And then I finished it off with John Flynn's braided border. So this just needs to be quilted and it can be enjoyed. Then I went through a stage where I loved making mandala quilts, and I made about 8 of them. I taught a couple classes in making them. And this is one of the mandala quilts that I made. Now, there's a problem with this one. I was machine quilting it, because you can see it's got the batting and the backing, everything here. But I wanted to use black thread to quilt it. There's hardly ever a reason to use black thread unless it's a black quilt, because it just makes it look dirty. I thought the quilting would stand out. It just looks dirty. So this one needs to be taken out. The stitches need to be taken out. How I'll do that is I'll take them out from the back, and then I'll redo it. So, and this time I will match. Now I try to match the fabric that I'm quilting, and it's happier for everybody because I'm not a perfect quilter. And but I just also find too, you don't want to fight with the fabric. So making it blend. Now, this is a quilt, one of my very first mystery quilts. And I love this. And I want to get this quilted because I've been trying to find this to show Miss Diana Wright. And let me move these things real quickly. Okay. So I can move this big container out of the way. All right. Here, this was one of my very favorite mysteries I ever did. And I know when I did this in 2008 or 2009. Oh, I think it came out beautifully. I want to get it quilted. It's time. And I did use the Asian-inspired fabrics, which I just love. So I can't wait to get this one done. All right. Then, down in the bottom of one of my tubs was a paper box. And so you'll see maybe a little bit of discoloration. But look at this. I did a quilt for a man his grandmother made it in like around 1900. And he gave me, that's where all my antique linens came from. And then he also gave me this. And this is a wonderful antique hexagon quilt. Now, I don't know how old it is, but the colors are so soft and gentle. And look at all of these hand stitches. So I wondered, what in the world do I do with this? And I will never make a hexagon quilt. But you know what? I think I have a daughter, Katie, who loves these soft colors, the bubblegum pinks and the soft yellows, the Depression era colors. I think that if I finish this, she would be very happy to have something sweet like this. So, that's today's bunch. So, and I know there are more. So, for about the next probably 2 weeks, I'm going to be showing you stuff. I will never, ever do hexagons. I'm sorry. I can't bear it. It's just certain things. So, anyway. Well, that was a busy day. That was a very busy day. So, yeah, a lot of things that just need quilted. So, and I enjoy it. It took me a few years to enjoy long arm quilting because it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of training your muscles. And, but now I love it. So, well, that is today's show. I will be back Thursday night to do our landscape fabric. We're going to start on different ways to do confetti quilting because that's a lot of fun. And there's 3 at least good ways for you to do your confetti quilting. And it's a great way to give like fall color, great way to give meadow flowers, and easy and fun. So it's like playing with construction paper, I always say. Thank you for joining me. Are there any questions that you have that you would like me to answer? I know what I was going to show you real quick. So, real quick, let me do this. I've got my sewing machine ready here. When you see a Dresden plate, you can have a Dresden plate that ends like this, or there are times that you'll see a Dresden plate that has finished edges. And let me show you. Hold on right here. Whoops. Let me show you this. I need to tighten something up. Evidently, something's not tight enough. But Okay. So what you do is you fold, whoops, I was trying to put a glue bottle here to hold the camera in place, but it's not wanting to stay. Okay. You take and you fold the wedge in half, right sides together, and you just stitch across the top. The top meaning the wider end. You do a 1/4 of an inch stitch across the top. Okay? This makes it so much easier. Then let me nip the threads off so you're not worried about those, and nip a little bit of that and a little bit of that. Okay. Now what you do is you turn it right side out and get where is my point turner? Whoops, my glue fell. Hold on 1 second, guys. I can't find my, oh, there it is. I see it. Remember I told you how that I have a bucket full of tools that getting in the way of my camera. Okay, so here is a point turner, and you just push it up in there to get this turned inside out. All you do is you sew straight across the top, but look at the design that it creates. So now you do that part first, okay? You do that part first on all of them, give them a good press, then you stitch them together. And that way it makes a nice finished edge. See the inside? So you just fold that wedge together, straight line. When you turn it inside out, it gives you a beautiful point. There are ways that you can sew a kind of curved line to give it a soft edge. And then that way it's easy. You will end up with a circle in the middle, so you just cut a piece of fabric about 1/4 of an inch larger than the opening of the hole, and you iron it under, use it on freezer paper, whatever, get a nice smooth edge, and then you just applique that down to cover the hole, and there you have a Dresden plate. So one thing I was going to tell you about is how those beautiful blocks were made that Miss Pat bought. And so what you have to do is have a lot of fabric. This is not the best fabric, but I grabbed it really quickly. What you have to do is you have to look where the repeats are. So repeat would be, see this flower, exactly that direction. That is one place. The next repeat is all the way down here. So what I would have to do is cut the size and take this piece, and see it's the same, whoops. See how you've got this tucked under the blue one, you've got this one this way, the pink. Well, this is the same thing. So this is a repeat. This is about an 8-inch repeat. So you would have to take and cut the fabrics and pin this on top of this one. Okay? And you would take your straight pin and you put it right at a specific point that you know you can replicate in this one. And so pretend that this has been cut. Okay? So these are 2 separate cut pieces. You put this on this corner, you bring it up, and you put it in the same corresponding corner of that. Okay? And then you come and you pin it so it exactly lines up with the other repeat. I mean, it has to line up exactly. So now you've got 2 pieces of fabric where you have lined them up perfectly. Then you take your wedge and you put your wedge on it and you trace around and you cut it. But depending on how many wedges that you need to form a circle, this is a 15-degree wedge. So you've got to take 360, divide it by 15, and that will tell you how many wedges you have to cut. So you have to have the perfectly lined up fabric, that many layers. It may take 8, 10, or 12, whatever it takes. Then you trace, you cut it out, and that way each of your wedges will be perfectly identical. So, Miss Pat, that's why what you found is a treasure, and anyone would be thrilled to own that. And now you can put your special finish on and turn it into a spectacular quilt. What a gift. I mean, for $3, that's a gift. So, way to go, group. And next week, when we meet, I'm going to give you a few hints and tips in taking classes, whether you take them online or in person. Some things that I've learned that will make you more comfortable in a class and make you the teacher's favorite. So next week, we'll talk about that. But thank you for joining me today. I hope you got a chance to go to Mancuso's virtual Mid-Atlantic Quilt Show. It was fun. The lectures and the different fun events and the quilt show. Oh, amazing. So, and we have to support these companies because it was wonderful after a whole year to finally be taking a class again. Nothing gets me more inspired. Nothing gets my mind focused and working than an online class. So look at them. They're out there. Go to your search engine and type in upcoming online quilt classes. Because I tell you what, you deserve it. And it's a wonderful thing to do for yourself. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I'm sorry we kind of ran over time, but we had a lot of fun things to do. So take good care of yourself. Do something special just for you. First week of March, we're here. So, and we're so close to these vaccinations. Some of you have already had them. We're so close. So hang in there a little bit longer. Wear those masks. And thank you for being here with me these last 6 months. It's been a challenge, but I made it through with the grace and beauty you shared with me. Thank you so much. Donna, we're thinking about you this week, dear heart. And so thank you all. You're all amazing. Okay. Inger, you are a joy to have with us. Susie, we've got some new members that are absolute joys. We've got even more sunshine, wouldn't you say, Miss Cheryl? Have a good week. I'll see some of you Thursday night because we're getting to the fun stage of the landscape quilt. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye, guys. Take good care of yourself.